After 50, the body begins to change its priorities, and understanding this shift is one of the most empowering things a woman can do for her health. Strength training becomes essential, not because youth is slipping away, but because independence is something worth protecting with intention. Muscle is more than tissue that moves the body. It is the quiet force that keeps joints aligned, posture upright, and balance steady during the simplest moments of daily life. When muscle weakens, the body compensates in subtle ways. Movements become cautious, confidence softens, and everyday tasks start to feel heavier than they should. Strength training gently reverses this process by reminding the body how to support itself efficiently and safely. What makes this stage of life unique is that strength is no longer about excess, it is about sufficiency. The goal is not to lift more than anyone else or push past exhaustion, but to maintain enough strength to stand up without hesitation, climb stairs without fear, and move through space with assurance rather than doubt. Each controlled movement during strength training sends a signal through the nervous system that stability still matters, that balance is trainable, and that coordination can improve rather than decline. This is how independence is preserved, not through dramatic effort, but through consistent reinforcement of what the body already knows how to do. There's also a deep emotional component to this kind of strength. Many women over 50 notice that physical instability subtly affects how they engage with the world. They may avoid certain activities, hesitate to travel, or feel less willing to try new experiences. Strength training restores not only physical capability, but also trust in the body. When the legs feel strong and the core feels supportive, the mind relaxes. Confidence grows from within, grounded in the knowledge that the body can respond when needed. This confidence carries into every area of life, shaping posture, presence, and self-perception. From a biological perspective, strength training after 50 helps counteract natural muscle loss that occurs with aging. Without resistance, muscle fibers shrink and weaken, reducing the body's ability to stabilize joints and absorb impact. This increases strain on connective tissues and raises the risk of injury. Strength training provides the stimulus muscles need to remain active participants in movement rather than passive bystanders. Over time, this protects the knees, hips, shoulders, and spine, allowing movement to feel smoother and more controlled. Perhaps most importantly, strength training reframes aging itself. Instead of viewing the years ahead as a gradual narrowing of ability, it invites a different perspective, one rooted in adaptation and care. The body is not fragile by default, it becomes fragile when it is underused. By choosing strength training, a woman over 50 affirms that her body is still capable of learning, responding, and supporting her life with dignity and steadiness, allowing independence to remain not a hope, but a lived reality. Even later in life, the body retains a remarkable ability to respond, adapt, and grow stronger when given the right signals. And this truth is especially important when it comes to muscle and bone. After 50, many people assume that physical decline is inevitable and irreversible, but biology tells a more hopeful story. Muscle tissue remains highly adaptable, capable of rebuilding strength and coordination when challenged with gentle, consistent resistance. The key is not intensity, but repetition over time. Each small effort reminds the muscles that they are still needed, encouraging them to remain active rather than slowly withdrawing from their role in supporting movement. Bone follows a similar principle. Although bone density naturally decreases with age, particularly after menopause, bone is not an inert structure. It is living tissue that responds to stress and load. When muscles pull against bones during strength training, they stimulate bone cells to maintain and in some cases improve density. This process helps counteract the gradual thinning that increases fracture risk. Without this stimulus, bones receive little reason to stay strong. Light resistance, performed regularly and with control, can provide enough mechanical signal to support skeletal health and reduce vulnerability over time. The relationship between muscle, bone, and joints is deeply interconnected. Strong muscles act as shock absorbers, reducing strain on joints and allowing movement to feel smoother and more stable. When muscles weaken, joints bear more load than they were designed to handle, leading to discomfort and stiffness. Strength training restores balance within this system by reinforcing the muscles that stabilize the hips, knees, shoulders, and spine. As a result, posture improves, movements become more efficient, and daily activities require less effort and mental energy. Balance and fall prevention are another crucial part of this equation. Falls are not simply the result of bad luck, they are often the outcome of weakened stabilizing muscles and slower neural responses. Strength training improves proprioception, the body's sense of position in space, by strengthening the muscles and neural pathways responsible for fine adjustments. This enhanced awareness allows the body to react more quickly to uneven surfaces or sudden shifts in weight, reducing the risk of falls and the fear that often accompanies them. What makes these changes especially powerful is their cumulative nature. Improvements may feel subtle at first, but over weeks and months, the body begins to move differently. Standing becomes easier, walking feels steadier, reaching, lifting, and bending feel less demanding. These small victories build on one another, creating a sense of capability that extends beyond physical movement. Strength training becomes a reminder that growth is still possible, that the body is responsive rather than resistant, and that with patient, consistent effort, muscle and bone can continue to support a life defined by mobility, confidence, and resilience.
Strength training does not exist in isolation. It works best when the body is properly supported. And after 50, the way a woman nourishes herself becomes just as important as the way she moves. As the years pass, the body becomes less efficient at building and repairing muscle, which means nutrition plays a more active role in maintaining strength. Adequate protein intake is especially important, not in extreme amounts, but consistently throughout the day. Protein provides the raw materials muscles need to recover after resistance exercise and to remain strong enough to support joints and posture. When protein is lacking, even the best exercise routine struggles to deliver results. Alongside protein, the quality of carbohydrates and fats matters deeply. Whole grains, fruits, and vegetables provide steady energy for movement while delivering vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that protect cells from damage. Healthy fats from sources like nuts, seeds, and natural oils support hormone balance, brain health, and inflammation control. These nutrients help create an internal environment where strength training can do its job effectively. Food is not simply fuel, it is information, guiding how the body responds to stress, exercise, and recovery. Hydration is another often overlooked element of strength and resilience. Muscles are largely composed of water, and even mild dehydration can reduce strength, increase stiffness, and slow recovery. Drinking enough water throughout the day supports circulation, joint lubrication, and nutrient transport. Proper hydration also helps regulate body temperature during movement, making exercise feel more comfortable and sustainable. Over time, this consistency supports better performance and reduces the risk of fatigue-related injuries. Sleep may be the most underestimated partner in strength training. During sleep, the body repairs muscle tissue, balances hormones, and consolidates the neurological adaptations that come from exercise. Poor sleep disrupts this process, making it harder to gain strength and easier to feel sore or unmotivated. Establishing calming evening routines, maintaining regular sleep schedules, and creating a restful sleep environment can dramatically improve how the body responds to both exercise and daily stress. Rest is not a luxury, it is a biological necessity for strength and longevity. When nutrition, hydration, and sleep align with strength training, the body enters a state of cooperation rather than resistance. Energy levels stabilize, recovery improves, and motivation becomes easier to sustain. This supportive lifestyle approach transforms exercise from a struggle into a rhythm, one that fits naturally into daily life. Over time, this balance allows strength to grow steadily and sustainably, reinforcing the idea that caring for the body after 50 is not about restriction or perfection, but about providing what it truly needs to remain capable, energized, and resilient. Light movement plays a quiet but essential role in supporting strength training, especially after 50, because the body thrives on variety rather than intensity alone. While resistance exercise builds muscle and reinforces bone, gentle activities like walking, stretching, yoga, or simple mobility work keep the joints fluid and the muscles relaxed between training sessions. These forms of movement encourage circulation, bringing oxygen and nutrients to tissues that may otherwise become stiff or uncomfortable. When the body moves regularly throughout the day, it maintains a natural rhythm that reduces pain and increases overall comfort. Walking, in particular, offers a steady, accessible way to stay active without overwhelming the body. It supports cardiovascular health, enhances mood, and encourages consistent movement patterns that feel familiar and safe. For many women over 50, walking becomes a form of meditation, a time to breathe deeply, reflect, and reconnect with their surroundings. This gentle activity complements strength training by keeping the legs active and reinforcing balance without adding excessive strain to joints or muscles that are still adapting. Stretching and mobility exercises serve a different but equally important purpose. As muscles strengthen, they also need to remain flexible to support full, comfortable movement. Gentle stretching helps maintain range of motion, especially in areas prone to stiffness such as the hips, shoulders, and spine. Mobility work teaches the body to move through these ranges with control rather than force, reducing the risk of injury and improving overall coordination. This balance between strength and flexibility allows movement to feel natural rather than restricted. Practices like yoga or tai chi bring an added dimension by combining movement with breath and awareness. These activities encourage mindfulness, helping women tune into their bodies and recognize subtle signals of tension or fatigue. This awareness makes it easier to adjust intensity, rest when needed, and move with intention rather than habit. Over time, this mindful approach fosters a deeper sense of trust between mind and body, which is especially valuable during a phase of life when physical changes can feel unpredictable. Light movement also plays a critical role in stress regulation. Chronic stress tightens muscles, disrupts sleep, and interferes with recovery from strength training. Gentle exercise lowers stress hormones while stimulating the release of chemicals that support relaxation and emotional balance. This creates an internal environment where strength training can be more effective and enjoyable. When light movement is woven into daily life alongside resistance exercise, it creates a sustainable pattern of activity that supports joint health, emotional well-being, and long-term physical comfort, allowing the body to remain active, responsive, and at ease as the years continue to unfold. A positive and compassionate mindset is often the most powerful force shaping health after 50 because it influences how every other choice is made and sustained. Exercise becomes something entirely different when it is driven by respect rather than criticism. Many women carry years of internal pressure, believing their bodies must be fixed or corrected, but strength training invites a gentler perspective. It asks not for perfection, but for presence, for showing up with curiosity and patience. When movement is approached as care rather than obligation, consistency becomes natural instead of forced. The way a woman speaks to herself during this stage of life matters deeply. Thoughts shape behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. When aging is framed as decline, effort feels pointless. When aging is understood as a process of adaptation, effort becomes meaningful. Each strength session, each nourishing meal, each moment of rest becomes a quiet affirmation that growth is still possible. This mindset shifts attention away from limitations and toward capability, reinforcing the belief that the body can still learn, respond, and improve. Compassion also creates resilience. There will be days when energy is low, progress feels slow, or motivation fades. A harsh mindset turns these moments into reasons to stop, while a compassionate one sees them as part of the process. Rest becomes a form of wisdom rather than weakness. Adjusting intensity becomes an act of intelligence rather than failure. This flexibility allows health habits to survive real life rather than collapse under unrealistic expectations. Mental outlook also affects physical outcomes in subtle but profound ways. Stress and negative self-talk increase muscle tension, disrupt sleep, and interfere with hormonal balance. A calm, encouraging mindset lowers stress hormones, improves recovery, and supports better coordination during movement. The nervous system feels safer, allowing muscles to activate more efficiently and movements to feel smoother. Over time, this creates a feedback loop where physical improvements reinforce positive beliefs, and positive beliefs support further physical progress. Perhaps most importantly, a positive mindset reconnects women with a sense of purpose in caring for their bodies. Strength training and healthy habits are no longer about resisting age, but about honoring life. They become tools for preserving independence, confidence, and joy. When a woman believes she is worthy of strength and well-being at every age, she moves differently, stands differently, and lives differently. This internal shift transforms exercise into self-respect and aging into a chapter defined not by loss, but by wisdom, capability, and quiet strength.